Hello and welcome to today's Lunchtime Nuggets. How are you today? It is Tuesday already. I'm Robin Weisner. I am a life coach and the creator of the Lighter Way Wellness Program, which is a whole life wellness program for women in midlife. And I'm so excited to be with you here today as we continue our series throughout this month where I'm coming to you live and dropping some little nuggets on your plate as far as helping you in your food freedom journey. And so, without further ado, today I am going to talk about the understanding your hunger and fullness cues. So before we dive in, as you're joining on live, I would love for you to tell me where you are joining from and how hungry are you right now? Are you starving or are you just a little bit hungry? And what are you having for lunch? I would love to know. So why are we talking about hunger and fullness cues? Well, because so many of us, some women and men, we have been conditioned to ignore our natural, intuitive sense of hunger and fullness because we have been programmed to follow diet rules because we put all our faith in the diet rules and we push aside our own intuition and what our body is telling us because we think this diet is going to be what we need that gets us these results that we want. And so what happens is that we don't eat when our body is physically hungry, or we don't. What happens is when we restrict food as we're dieting, eventually we go the other way and we eat beyond fullness, right? It's like this boomerang effect because we have deprived ourselves and now our body has just been hungry for so long. Have you ever had that happen? How many have ever done like a 3-day fast or a cleanse or whatever, and then as soon as it was over, you just ate whatever you wanted? Or how many times in your life, no judgment here, but how many times in your life have you gone on a diet, like say it was whatever for 3 weeks or something like that, and you're just saying, I can't wait to be done with this diet, right? Can't wait to be off this diet. And then as soon as you're off the diet, you're like, oh, I've been missing whatever it was, right? It makes no sense because the diet is only changing our behavior externally. It's not changing our thought process. And we're not paying attention to what our body is telling us about what it needs, when it's hungry, and when it's had enough to eat. And so, there's a whole kind of recovery process to this because we've been just saturated in diet mindset, at least for me, as long as I can remember. So one of the things you can do, you might think of it's a little bit like mindful eating. These are called principles of food freedom. There's 10 principles of food freedom. It comes from the intuitive eating movement, which is based on a book that was written by 2 registered dietitians. And I've really gotten into it, especially this year. I think it makes total sense. And one of the main food freedom principles is to honor your hunger. And I'm just going to read from what it says. It says, keep your body well nourished with energizing foods. Withholding food when you are hungry can trigger a primal drive to overeat. Isn't that true? Someone was on here yesterday saying every time I go on a diet, I end up eating more. It's that thing that we're depriving ourselves and it causes us to overeat. Once you reach the point of being hangry, conscious eating becomes nearly impossible, right? When we are so hungry that we would just eat, a stick of cardboard, we're not going to make the best choices. So learning to honor your biological need for nourishment sets the stage for rebuilding trust in food and yourself. And that's what I'm all about with the clients I work with and the programs that I create. It's all about rebuilding trust in food and your body and restoring that relationship between them, owning that relationship and not depending on diet culture to get optimal health. The other thing is just another food freedom factor is discovering satisfaction in food. we are always, well, I shouldn't say always, that's an absolute, but so often when we are eating, we're distracted. We're looking at our phones, or we're watching TV, or whatever it is, but we're not actually present in the moment that we're eating. And a lot of times, sometimes we're even driving in the car and eating, right? Talk about distracted. So we're not actually appreciating the full satisfaction of being full and being satisfied. And so we end up eating beyond that. And again, I'm right there with you. There's been plenty of times in my life where, maybe I was looking forward to a great meal, and then the next thing I knew, it was over. I just wolfed it down, and it was over. And I was like, wow, did I really enjoy that? Did I experience it? Did I savor it? So we want to get back to that, to savoring the satisfaction of having a good meal, the satisfaction of nourishing our body well. And, learning, the third point is also learning to observe signs of fullness. They say it takes about 20 minutes for you to sense, fullness. So when we're eating in a hurry, we might not tune back in until we've eaten too much. So taking our time, enjoying the eating experience, breathing naturally, enjoying all of the different flavors and the fragrances and all of that of everything that we're eating, and knowing when we've reached a point of satisfaction before we get to the point of being over full. Oh my gosh, how many times on the holidays, right? I mean, we just eat all those foods that we love, and then I'm just so miserable. I'm like, but I have to fit in some more sweet potato pie, and I have to fit in some more mashed potatoes, and it all tastes so good. But then afterward, I feel like it's just gonna start coming out of my belly button, right? It feels very uncomfortable, and then I'm like, oh, but I still gotta fit some more pie and coffee in there, and then everybody's passed out, right? Does that mean that we can't enjoy those foods? No, not at all. It just means we need to be more aware and pace ourselves. Maybe we take smaller portions, maybe a few bites this, that, and the other, and, be present in the moment as we're eating. So we want to pay attention to that. And so this is something that you can do as part of, just try it. Sorry, potential spam call. There we go. Try it, track it, and see how it works for you for a week or so. So I've been doing this for several months now. It's been really interesting and revealing as I try to discover how often do I let myself get beyond hungry? How often do I eat beyond fullness? How frequently am I eating? If I'm just listening to my own body cues, how many hours between meals do I generally get hungry, and what type of meals are the most satisfying? This is all part of food freedom, owning your own journey. I believe that each one of us has the ability to know what our body needs. Our body tells us these things, and it also tells us the things that don't work for us, right? We have to be good investigators and good advocates. And so that just takes being conscious, being intentional, and maybe tracking for a little while. So I actually have created a food journal, a daily journal that you can get for free from my online university. I also have this hunger fullness scale that you can download there as well. And so I'll just touch on this really quickly. At the top we have, so when we're ranking our hunger, I'm trying not to cut off my face. When we are ranking let me try it this way. Our hunger and fullness cues. The whole thing is a scale of 0 to 10 or 1 to 10. Okay, 5 would be neutral. 5 would be I'm not hungry or full. I'm completely neutral. So on the one extreme, we have a 0 to a 3. 0 being I would eat my sock right now. I feel sick. I'm so hungry. A 2 would be I'm just starving. I'm really, really hungry. Like, we're never here in America, thank the Lord, we're not ever actually starving, but you know that feeling. And a 3 would be I'm just hungry. I'm actually hungry. I feel my stomach growling. For sure, like, I feel my energy down. My stomach really needs some food right now. And this is physical hunger. And we can talk about physical hunger versus emotional hunger on another episode, because there is a way to tell the difference. But this is the levels here. I skipped a number. So 1 is starving and 2 is very hungry. 2 is very hungry. 3 is hungry. 4 is slightly hungry, and then a 5 would be neutral. So before you eat a meal, you just ask yourself an assessment. Where am I as far as hunger goes right now? Am I slightly hungry? Am I hungry? Am I starving? Just noticing what level of hunger that you have. And then after you eat, assessing how full you are. So a 6 would be slightly full. A 7 would be fully satisfied. So like for me, my goal is to go into a meal at a level 3. And the numbers, really don't get tripped up by the numbers. I want to go into a meal feeling hungry, not starving and not like slightly hungry, just feeling hungry, naturally hungry. And when I'm finished, I want to be full and satisfied. I don't want to be slightly full, and I don't want to be overstuffed or feeling like food's going to come out of my belly button. I just want to be full and satisfied. And so, of course, the danger zone and overeating is when we're just overstuffed, overfull, and we just start feeling sick to our stomach. So just noticing your patterns can help you so much on your journey to food freedom. Being aware of, and doing this with no judgment, just keeping track of how you feel before you eat a meal, and then how you feel afterward. And it will start to bring to your awareness, like, wow, okay, so it seems like I let myself get way too hungry before I eat. And then when I do that, I tend to overeat, or whatever that might be. Or I wasn't actually very hungry. I've been eating a lot of times when I wasn't hungry. I mean, there's clues everywhere. A diet is not going to tell you this. You have to do the work. You have to understand yourself. You have to become an expert in the study of one, which is you. So understanding and honoring your hunger is part of just aligning body, mind, and spirit, and achieving that food freedom. That's a big part of what the Lighter Way program is about. Most of the women that I help are not happy with their weight, but I'm not about giving you a diet. I'm about focusing on mindset, focusing on aligning body and mind with the Holy Spirit, so that you are operating as your highest self and you make those choices accordingly for all areas of your life. We talk about relationships. We talk about finances, if that's an issue for you. We talk about your physical space, your physical health, recreation, 8 pillars of your whole life. So it's whole life wellness for midlife women, because we all know as you get into midlife, there's a lot of curveballs that come your way, and it's not all about weight. It's just not. It's about decades of mindset. It's about decades of maybe not stepping out in your truth and what it is that you want for yourself in your relationships. And so it's an exciting time, this 3rd season, where you get to design that for yourself. So that's just a nutshell about what the honoring your hunger cues is, and the Lighter Way program. And I want to invite you, I am doing a special beta launch. It is a special version of the full Lighter Way program at a drastically reduced price. I'm offering a slightly different version of it. It's all the same modules, but it's self-paced. And I'm looking just for 10 women to test it for me this month. If you sign up by this Friday, I am throwing in a couple of free programs that I have as well. So if you're interested, DM me or drop a comment below and let's chat. I would love to hear more about why you would like to check it out and see how we can work together. All right, that's it for today's Lunchtime Nuggets. I hope it blessed you. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway is about hunger and fullness, and if there's something that you're going to try to change starting today. And I will see you back here tomorrow, where we are going to talk about some of the food issues that cause inflammation and weight gain, especially in women in midlife. All right, until tomorrow, take care. Love you. Mwah. Peace out.